You can smell the playoffs. Oh, yeah. It's also rivalry week. Let's get to it. I hope I win, but it's going to take his team having some problems like last week. And it's going to take my team really putting some things together, including some guys who haven't.
Yeah. Hey, man, the season's over. I've given up. Right?
What?
Welcome to the Chuck and Dave pod.
I'm Chuck.
I'm Dave.
Welcome to the pod.
So I got to be honest, man. I mute us when we're like off, when they're playing the background music stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to unmute you. So like half of your cold open. Shoot.
No.
Like
your microphone stand?
Yes, I did. Trying to mess with it. It just fell off here. Half of it. I missed the beginning. I did get the second part about rivalry week and such, but you probably had a nice quippy line in front that I did not hear.
Not really. It wasn't quippy. I just said the season's halfway over. Trades are in the air. You can smell the playoffs, and it's also rivalry week.
Oh. Okay, so that's
nothing too quippy. I really consider doing a bit where for those who don't have any hope, if you can hold up just a bunch of extra picks, it'll really make you have a warm feeling. But, I kind of did the sad person thing last week for Alex. You don't want to do that every time.
Yeah, you gotta,
Can't
gotta be happy.
I've actually taken a really optimistic look at the rest of the season here. When I was looking at the stuff this week and I was kind of trying to think about people's future schedules in the season, I was pretty optimistic with people. I went on the side of airing for wins instead of losses. And I actually, I think I went 8 wins too many, but I didn't want to bother going down and making it legit. So
sure.
I wish we had one of those like real, like the TV screens here with like each person, and you could like be like, okay, this week I'm picking this guy and this guy. All right. And then it adds up the total down at the bottom, and like you can the season like they do on NFL.
We'll have to
the high quality production we come here for is to not have that.
We'll have to see if Wisco Resale can
I've always wanted to
put up a green screen.
I've always wanted to have something where you could like put up the logos, especially when we're talking about seating and things towards the end of the year, and be like, this is where they are. And maybe with the new premium package, we could do stuff like that. I don't know.
We'll see.
Best I've been able
to definitely do things like, let me see here. No, that doesn't help.
I like that setup. Even better.
Yeah, right there. Put you at the forefront.
That's what the people really want.
I mean, I can add screen share stuff. Like we could add a presentation or such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think let me see here. Technically I could add, if I had another camera, I could have 2 cameras.
Ooh.
But yeah, we'll have to look into it.
Figure it out maybe this year or next year. As the playoffs are starting to come up a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, what a week 7.
Yeah.
What a way to end. Everybody's played everybody once.
Yeah.
And honestly, no real nail biters. Despite what you might think if you were listening to Alex on Monday night.
I mean, that was okay. I mean, it was
okay like at a point, but he still ended up getting a pretty big victory.
Yeah, it wasn't like a true nail biter.
If you read what he's talking about and you didn't know what the scores are like, you would not have predicted him winning by like, what was it, 14?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll get into that.
20. If I had another camera, I could have 2 cameras. There we go.
Yes. I mean, if you take that quote out of context, Sam, it does sound silly and ridiculous, but you're taking it out of the context of me seeing that I do have the ability to use 2 cameras on this software.
It's all about context.
It's context. Context.
It's like the context of our fantasy football season.
Yes.
Matters. Especially when we get into trade talk after we recap here, I'm sure. Context matters.
Yeah. Let's kick it off.
All right, week 7. Where do you want to start?
I'll
just say one thing to begin with. This was the second lowest, biggest blowout.
Oh, really?
This week. We've had 2 pretty small ones now. This one was only 26 points, and we've had one that was only 19 points. So we've had some pretty small. We've had some weeks where most games are fairly close. And this
Nice.
I guess it doesn't seem like every game was really close, but they weren't like super duper far apart.
Sure.
Once again, I mean, we've kind of set a trend here. It might feel differently, but since week 5, the lowest score anybody has gotten is the 87 that Appalachian White Lightning got this week.
Since week 4, you said?
Yeah, so for the past 3 weeks, or 4, was 4 included in that? Yeah, so 5, 6, and 7. Weeks 5, 6, and 7, the lowest score anybody got was an 87.6.
Okay.
So, I mean, overall, it's the league is not scoring very low. It's not like everyone's putting up. So, like, parity seems fairly close in the league when it comes down to it, just looking at overall scores.
Sure.
If that means anything, I don't know. I don't have the ability to tell you what every season has looked like at that point. But
that's true.
I'll tell you what, just trying to go back and look through every season's wide receiver scores.
Because of some tanking.
Not because of tanking, because of my crap team.
Yeah. Well, you want to start off with the Chuck&DavePod matchup?
To live in it too long, sure. So we had the Puffins with 111 versus the QPC's 118, the Chuck and Dave grudge match.
Mm-hmm.
Very close. I think it was the closest game of the week, and it took a little bit of luck. I guess, as my opener says, I needed you to not do great. I got that, but I needed to have something special. And gosh, did it feel like I was. The defense put up that big score. Drake May got basically 8 over his projection. Everybody who scored real points on my team did really, really well. If you eliminate the 3 that didn't, the rest of my team averaged, what did I put here? I wrote it down. Oh, I had 18 points per position outside of my receivers. And then my 2 wide receivers and tight end combined got me what? 3 points?
3.15.
Yeah, it's just like, what are the chances of that?
Yeah, that was tough. That's a tough one for you. Honestly, I was freaking out, man. When you had who'd you have that scored? Was it the Denver defense?
Yeah,
Denver defense scored 21 points, and I'm sitting here with Kamara scoring 7.7. I'm like,
I was feeling good.
This is going to be another one of those games where all my like big stars that have been scoring, like, I just need him. Like, I don't even need him to score like 18, 19 points. Just get double digits. Just get 10, 11 points. That's all I care.
Well, Barkley did your heavy lifting.
Yeah, he did.
For you this week. I was hoping. I told Andrea before the game on Monday night, I was like, all I need is his kicker to miss 2 field goals and then get hurt.
I think he missed 1.
Well, he made some too, so it didn't matter.
Yes.
With that, but it was just atrocious to have a wide receiver get nothing. Didn't even get a target, I don't think.
Sure.
Devonta Smith. And then Tank Dell. No, wait.
Devonta Smith got 1
reception and got negative yards. Tank Dell, I swear, I was listening to the game on the radio because I didn't get to watch it, and the only time I heard Tank Dell was pass intended for, and it was so frustrating. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And then it was what, like 17 Tank Bigsby runs in a row or something like that?
Barkley.
That was a Jaguar. Sorry, that was a different
Josh, you can just shut your little trap. Like,
bail out Barkley.
Good Lord, man.
I mean, he didn't get bailed out by Barkley. He got bailed out by my combination of Laporta, Smith, and Dell.
Yeah. And you know, my other guys did do well. Justin Jefferson got me 18 points. So it's like, it's not the only person on my team that does.
And Barkley could have done better.
And just so you know, Barkley hasn't played well in a while. So, in fact, his last 2 games, he's only gotten 7 and 15. So,
yeah, you know what?
I'm going to call everybody on Josh's team bailout. He's bailout Malik Neighbors, bailout Amon-Ra St. Brown, bailout Jalen Hurts.
There's something to be said about if you have a player that's been doing poorly, just start him against the Puffins. They will have a breakout game. True. That'll just happen. You definitely hit a sore spot. So I did go looking back to see if maybe this is like the worst wide receiver combo in our league. Now it took me a long time, and I don't know why, but like because I had to go through each year, look at a game, next game, following week, next game. Okay. And for like 4 different times, Yahoo just like shut down on me after I was doing that for a while. And I had to like stop until it was like, okay, you can come back on. It would just be like redirecting. So it was apparently annoyed that I was pulling up all these deep stats from like 2018. So I didn't get to look at 21, 22, or 23. So if anybody remembers having a particularly bad wide receiver week, then send it my way. But in the first 3 years, 18, 19, and 20, here's what I found. The Blue Golds in 2019 did have 1 week where their receivers added up to 0. However, he had Tyler Lockett. By the way, when I was looking at low wide receiver scores, Tyler Lockett was a name that came up a lot for some reason. But Tyler Lockett got a 0 because he just didn't get anything. But he also started Julio Jones, who was out. So I think that's not quite the same as having 2 players who were in the game, not even getting injured, and scoring poorly. So I'm not giving that one the record. Technically, it probably is the record, but I'm not giving it the same approach. In 2018, my own team scored 2. Adam Thielen got a 2, but Keenan Allen was out. I don't know how I missed that one, but the lowest that I could find where both players were actually in the game was in 2020. The Bulldogs, again, Todd, scored a total of 3 when Tyler Lockett got 3 points and Calvin Ridley got a 0. So that would mean that my 0.95 is the record for both starting and playing the whole game. Plus, in all 3 of those other situations, their tight end scored a lot of points. In the week that Todd got a 0, his tight end, George Kittle, got him 30. So when you combine all 3 receivers, I'm pretty sure this is the absolute worst display of receiving prowess ever in our league.
Yeah.
I can't confirm that because of, Tankgate, but.
Tankgate.
Good days.
But, I mean, overall, it was a close match.
It was a close match. I said you still managed the 3rd highest score of the whole week. Honestly. Yeah. So it's not like even though you didn't do like amazing numbers, you were still competitive. You would have beaten a lot of other teams. You keep your top seed.
Yeah, I mean, you said something. I remember you saying thank you for not playing Brian Thomas Jr., but I'm like, would you have played Brian Thomas Jr.?
Yeah, I've been looking. You're living in a world where you have actual viable players on receiving. I don't. I live in a world where I'm like...
No, I mean, like, you would, but, like, say you're in my place and you have Drake London, Justin Jefferson. Would you have played Brian
I might have put him in as a flex. I don't know.
Over Kamara? Barkley?
I don't know.
I was thinking, I guess I could move.
I would have started him in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
This week. I will start him next week. You want my dog?
We can definitely talk trade. And I don't necessarily need
I'll give you my next 3 years first round pick.
I'll take Puka, Rashee Rice, and Jameson Williams.
I don't trust Thomas is all. He has 3 weeks of getting lots of points. The reason I would not have probably started him is because I don't trust Lawrence to routinely get him the ball. I'm changing my team to the Bezoik bailouts since my entire team is a bailout.
I think he's trying to poke fun at the thing when I called his team a bailout because he calls basically every player that plays well on my team somehow is bailing me out.
He could be flexing that he's the third place team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering starting Amari Cooper now just because he has a quarterback that can throw to him finally.
Quarterback makes a difference. Quarterback makes a difference. All right, so that's that game. I can put that out of my mind at this point. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Well, let's go to Bezoik.
I'm 3-4 right now.
Let's go to the Bezoik versus the Appalachian White Lightning, which was less than interesting. It sounds like Alex might be coming on soon, so we'll wait for his game and see if we can stall out a little bit till.
So yeah, this was a pretty good blowout.
Yeah.
The Appalachians are still the least in points scored and the most in points against, and now Ayuk has gone too. However, it's interesting when I look at their team. He's still.
I sent you the link, Alex.
He's not terribly off on wide receivers still, because he's still got Diggs. Well, he had Diggs, and who's the other one he had? He had another receiver. I thought, was it his flex person? Reed. He's got Reed, so he's got. He still has like two very startable receivers. He's not going to anymore because he doesn't want to win anymore. But that's where they're at.
No, I mean, like what do you mean?
Respectable, whatever. It wasn't a great week for them. You could say they were lucky. 113 is a coin flip. If you're going to win, probably errs on the side of losing most weeks. But he got a break.
Yeah, he got bailed out by Jordan, bailed out by.
I do believe I said last week that I thought New Orleans defense was suspect pick.
That's fine, Alex. You can join at 9. That's fine.
Did he just come here and then leave?
So he was here, and then I don't know.
Interesting.
Right,
as far as bench stuff here, nothing would have changed the game for the Lightning.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
There was talk this last week with Josh on potentially trading Higgins, and I looked at that, but I don't think I have anything he would want. He has the best tight end in the game.
You're saying, wait, the Lightning, nothing would have changed his fate? I mean, if he throws in
Rashad White, but does that make him win?
And Bucky Irving.
If he had both of them in, but I don't know.
He decided to put that's 40 points right there.
It is. That's true. I overlooked the White thing.
Yeah, I remember, Alex, but you made it seem on Discord that like you were like going to be ready in a minute. You said joining in a minute. I thought when you said joining in a minute that you were joining the actual pod instead of like joining the like community. I thought you were joining the actual Chuck and Dave pod, not the Chuck and Dave pod universe.
Did you not see him in the Olympics, Sam?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. He did pommel horse right after that one dude did pommel horse.
He was the backup.
And he actually got a higher score, but they tested him for human growth hormone and he tested positive. So they had to, they got him out of there.
Is Alex tall? He feels like, to me, from what I've seen of him, he feels short. But is he tall?
Alex? No. Alex is like, yeah, he's about like 6'4".
Oh, really? He's tall.
Yeah, Alex.
Whenever I've seen him on the camera, he just looks like a short person.
Yeah, no, Alex is taller than me.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Well, how tall are you, Alex? 5'10"?
Oh, so he is a shorty.
Yeah. He's a short king.
Short king. All right.
So I mean, like, I do like there is a road to victory with Jordan's team, but it's a very, very unlikely road to victory.
I mean, Singletary was a bold start, I would say, and Stevenson has not been great a lot of games, hasn't he?
I mean, he hasn't been good for a long time. I mean, he had 120 pointer,
White
119
also. So White was certainly not a surefire like throw this guy in either.
No.
So I mean, I can see why he didn't start him, but yeah, 72 points on the bench is nothing to snuff at. I haven't insulted your height. I was just asking about it.
Like if Jordan were to put in his perfect bench or all of his like bench scores, he would have won. But
but you can say the same thing if Neighbors is replaced by Metcalf and that fire. So
T. Higgins somehow
I will say this. I think that Josh has had some incredible pickups this year. I think swinging that trade for Walker, which at the time I even said was completely lopsided, has been a huge help to him. If he was rocking Najee every time instead of Walker, I don't think he'd have the same stuff. The pickup of Bowers for tight end,
That's a solid pickup.
heck of a pickup there. I believe he also picked up Robinson Jr. late. It wasn't a draft. So he's had some really good picks.
Nope, he picked him up. He was picked him up in the 11th round.
Oh, he drafted Robinson. Oh,
Yep.
Oh, Dobbins, though, he picked up, right?
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins probably.
Although Dobbins has not been as much of a steamroller
No.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he added him on a
Chargers
waivers,
have been figured out. The Chargers are, they run, and now people are starting to stop the run. 5'6.5". All right, that's respectable. Snicker.
I think
Dancing with the Stars
with Lindsey Sterling.
with Lindsey Sterling. You would pair Alex and Lindsey Sterling. I would watch that.
That's exactly what Alex would want. No, I mean, Josh's team, I think we have to, like, as much as I hate to say it and it hurts me into my inmost being, it's very similar to me saying that the Vikings are a good team, is kind of have to say that. Hang on. I gotta vomit. Josh's team is decent.
Well, we can dig into that a little more when we talk about the remainder of the year. But yeah, his team has been, from week 2 to week 6, his lowest score was a 125.
Yeah, he's got
3 games over 130, 2 over 140. So he's been doing, and he's not really winning by luck overall. He lost in a bad luck break to you, and he lost in a bad luck break to the Lambs having a 155. So he very easily could potentially be 6-1 also if a couple things had gone that way. Is the only thing Sam knows about Alex that he would prefer to dance with Lindsey Sterling?
I think that he likes Lindsey Sterling.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think we beat this game down.
Oh, yeah. All right, well,
I don't think we're going to get to Alex for his review, but
no, but I'll still leave him to the last, so we can do because that's the biggest blowout anyway. So,
Blue Golds and Musks.
Blue Golds and Muskie.
First of all, the Musks Axons have already broken their promise to have a new logo every week.
It's true.
That was a little disappointing. Spent a lot of times refreshing, trying to wait and see if it would.
Sam, if you ever want to change your name to, instead of Musk Oxen, but still want to keep the muskiness, you could say the Muskies, Muskalunge. It's a fish. You may not know that.
The Milwaukee Muskalunge.
The Milwaukee Muskalunge.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Or you could just be the Musks.
Or the Muskies.
The Milwaukee Musks instead of the Milwaukee Bucks. And instead of a buck, it's a skunk. Or a ferret. Is it the ferrets that have musk?
I don't know. I would just put Elon Musk with horns on him.
All right. So we the Blue Golds kind of regressed to the mean a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's
still 114.
Not as bad as they've had in some, but he would have beaten
the Flemoids.
He had the second highest score.
Yep.
Still, which is crazy. Sam was the only one to really have the big numbers this week. It was Sam's third game above 130. And he had a 0 in there.
Well, he was competing for the wide receiver lowest with you.
He certainly got close.
He's trying real hard. 1.85.
But he was still able to get that high score even with that. Now, the whole Samuel thing is crazy. Like, why was he even trying to get in the game? He basically was pulled out after 4 snaps and sent to the hospital because he had pneumonia.
Yeah.
Like, why'd they even think of starting?
Don't know.
It's insane.
And then, Deontay Johnson, the hot and cold master, basically. He either scores 15 or he scores 2.
Well, Washington's supposed to have been a good matchup for receivers, so I'll give him that. However, the Panthers are still the Panthers.
Yes.
and Dalton has become not great again. But he certainly got bailed out by Gibbs and Hall, and I would say above all the Williams, which was gold. Like, how many people started Williams this week? Is there a way that we can find out how many people started Williams?
I can tell you how many. I can probably tell you how many people are starting Williams right now.
Look this week at how many are starting.
He's at right now. It's at 58%.
Well, that's because people are point chasing, probably.
Probably, but
I doubt that he was above 50% last week.
You think he was lower than 50%?
I think he probably was. I don't think he's a guy that was on a ton of people's radar, unless you're in a deeper league. Sam obviously did it without Olave. He really didn't have a ton of points on his bench.
Nope.
Right quarterback. Meanwhile, the Blue Golds, again, like, it's one of those games. Nobody did terrible, really. I mean, I guess you could say McPherson with the 3 there, but everybody kind of pulled their weight. A 5 for a tight end isn't terrible, and everyone else is almost 15 points average.
Yep.
So once again, I need to look into this. I got distracted by the terrible the terrible wide receiver display going down that rabbit hole. But I really need to look in. I think that Todd might be the best at streaming defenses. He just knows something people don't.
Yeah,
he starts guys that aren't necessarily like ranked number 1, but then they do well.
Yeah, he has pretty high defensive play, because I think, didn't he play the Jets last week? No.
I don't think he started.
No, he didn't. I think he's still at Philly, but Philly's still at 9.
Yeah. He gets pretty good points. But I will tell you this, and this is a ridiculous stat, and I'll get into the other statistical leaders later, but when you look at the least amount of field goals this year scored by anybody is the Bulldogs.
Really?
How many field goals has Todd gotten this year?
If he's playing Evan McPherson, which I don't know.
He only started McPherson. He has started others.
He has started others?
And Jake Elliott for a while. And
I think if he had Evan McPherson for the past 3 weeks, he's only kicked 1 field goal. My guess is he has 4 field goals.
5.
5, really?
5 this whole year. 7 weeks, 5 field goals.
Wow.
And yes, the last 3 weeks, I don't think he has a single field goal because he's been starting McPherson.
Yeah.
That's like incredibly unlucky.
That's incredibly low.
That's like last year Nincompoops level of kicker starting.
But I mean, to be fair, though, we told Sam about 6 weeks in a row, hey, man, maybe you might want to switch your kickers because you have like the 30th ranked kicker.
Well, it's possible.
He just kept him in. He's like, nope, gonna ride or die.
We're gonna keep Carlson. Is Carlson even still a kicker?
Which one?
Well, I know ours is. Well, he got picked up by somebody now, but
Anders is over at San Francisco.
The Raiders guy that Sam had last year.
I don't know.
Let's see. Total season stats. He could take the 4th highest kicker, Austin Siebert. He's right there for anybody. He scored 100 points so far this year total. Instead, let's find out where Todd is. McPherson has scored 64. That'd be a 40-point bonus.
Wow.
But people don't change kickers. I don't know why. People just – it's tough, I guess, but –
It's tough.
I know, I get it, but when you just keep having one that's doing poorly, like, why not? Nobody's carrying 2 kickers except Alex or Sam. I think Sam had 2 kickers last week.
Sure.
So, like, there's only 8 gone. So there's always going to be, like, 26 or whatever, or 24 kickers available at any given time for the most part.
Who's this kicker you're talking about?
Who?
That you said is
Siebert.
Siebert's out there?
Commander's kicker.
I don't think he's out there anymore. Somebody must have picked him up.
Did somebody already go get him?
Must have.
Right now. Wow. This is what the pod is all about.
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't see him.
Players, kicker, season total. Siebert is a free agent.
Hang on. Actual rank, you said?
I might just pick him up right now. Look at this guy. 19-19 for the last 2 weeks.
Wait, where's? Hang on.
Although apparently he's played very friendly defenses.
I guess I'm not even seeing him as an available player.
Well, this is because I've changed the Yahoo settings so that the person in the league doesn't have access to good players.
That makes sense. Season total. Okay.
Are you doing all? Yeah, it should be all available players.
Yeah, Austin Siebert. Interesting. His actual rank is 30.
He's 94. Sam's rocking Butker, who I had for a little bit. I think he's the lowest ranked kicker that anybody has right now. Yeah. Cam Little. I haven't even heard of that person. Sometimes I look at these kickers' names, and it's like when they have graduation at my school, and I'm like, I don't know who that kid is.
Yeah.
Anyway, not a very nail biter of a game.
No.
The Muskoxen put themselves back into contention, and really, it's a stupid thing that's happening this year. But people just keep doing the same crap at the top, so they all pull away together.
Yeah.
It turns, but nobody can stay in sixth. Bunch of jerks.
All right, we got to talk about the last one, even though Alex isn't here yet. But that's okay. Biggest blowout.
No, this wasn't a blowout.
Oh, it wasn't?
Josh's was.
Oh, Josh's was.
Because Josh became the first person to have 3 biggest blowouts.
Oh, okay.
And Jordan became the first person to lose to it twice. Which does mean that Alex and I, despite my troubles, are still the only people to not have gotten a losing side of a biggest blowout yet.
Well, lucky you guys.
It's, you know me, that's what they say about me this year. Luck everywhere. But kicker, yep, that's your guy. All right, so 131 to 108. I turned my page here, didn't I? Yeah. This was a lively Monday night play-by-play. I think that was enjoyable. The fact that I actually missed a bunch and then got to read it all. It was like you were there. It's like looking in an old house and you find someone's diary from 1787 or something. It's like, wow, I'm there with them.
Yeah.
It was incredible. He went from selling his entire team to winning. Big.
Yep. I will say he definitely really has Alex, I'm very glad you're not an actual owner of an NFL team, because although it would be very entertaining.
Would it be different?
You could see Alex, middle of the game, your team goes down 14-0. He runs down to the field, runs over to the quarterback who's on his team, gives him his pink slip and just shoves him out the door. You're out of here, man. Dude, I threw 7 touchdowns last game. I don't care.
Every Monday after the games, there's a sign on the front door.
Yeah, it's just
don't enter.
There's 6 people whose fobs just do not open the doors. Bleep, bleep. Why isn't my fob working? Sorry, you're done.
You saw your stats. You know I can't keep you in here.
Yeah,
you have a true guillotine team. Only the strong survive.
Passer rating under 120.
I think that we need to make a motion that the next time Alex has a number of players on Monday night, we live stream him watching the game.
Yeah, we need to do that.
We just need to watch him, be interacting with him on a video to see what's happening. Is there a wall that's covered in blankets for when he throws stuff?
I hope so.
He just isn't. Anyway, the Fergals finally didn't get lucky.
Yeah, close. It was close. There was a moment.
Right, you could see the luck actively attempting to cut.
There was a moment.
There was
honestly, I was telling Kara this yesterday. I said, even if Baltimore or Tampa could have kept the game even somewhat close, it was a close, tit for tat type game and not as high scoring, I think she could have won. The problem was that they got so far ahead, and it was just, you knew Baker was going to get a bunch of garbage time, and you knew Derrick Henry was just the Baltimore Ravens were just going to run.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like one of those things that where like he's freaking out in like the middle of the third quarter. I'm like, dude, you got a quarter to go. One team, the team that you need to run or that you have the running back for is only just going to run the football now. That's all, because they're going to just try to run the clock out. And the team that has the quarterback is going to only throw the football.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he got pretty much the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. It worked out very well for him. Obviously Mixon certainly did.
I mean, yeah, like when Evans went out, you're like, oh, like, man, he's like, oh man, what's gonna happen? And then Zay Flowers like non-existent in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Every touchdown was passed to some random
Which
wide
is
receiver
crazy
I've
because
never heard of.
the week before, I think Zay Flowers was targeted like
Yeah,
9 times, and
I don't think he got
once.
Yeah, he was just non-existent. And then Derrick Henry didn't really only had like 30 yards rushing until like middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, it was
Pretty
it was
crazy.
quite the thing. Having these doubled up Monday nights makes for some really compelling fantasy last nights. It's unfortunate that finally the Fergals put Daniels in and he gets hurt, although they still scored more than Stroud, so it was a better choice. The Fergals set the record for the year with only 6 passing yards.
6 passing yards.
6 passing yards.
I mean, that was a little unlucky.
Yeah.
That is the thing about like you guys were like, I remember at the whatever it was on last Wednesday, Thursday, everyone's talking, why isn't Kara starting Jaden Daniels? Oh my gosh, like how is he not in? And she listened to your advice. Now she wasn't actually listening to your advice. She
would never listen to my advice. She does not like me.
She just we talked about it and I said, like, do you really, like, we were going to the Packer game and I'm like, do you really want to be rooting against the Packers because your quarterback wants to?
I suggested that last week that she might be benching Stroud because she just didn't want the person playing the Packers.
I mean, I do that. I did that, and I did that this week with somebody.
I mean, I tried the opposite this year. I tried the whole, like, if I put Tank Dell in and he does well, then I still win.
That's true.
Didn't work out.
I just don't like having to be like, yes, he got a touchdown and crap. But I mean, I think the way Alex is actually probably pretty lucky because the way that the Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders were playing. I
think Daniels would have done enough.
I think he could have done enough to win the game. Like he probably would have gotten 28 points.
Certainly would have been close.
It would have been a lot closer.
Maybe not enough. He would have had to do a lot to get enough, but
yeah,
it certainly would have been even tighter, and we would have gotten an even more enjoyable Alex to listen.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, but I know the Adams gamble didn't pay off in his first week. Pickens would have been the better choice, it turns out.
Yeah,
Sure
Pickens. She was actually pretty upset that she didn't put George Pickens in, but it's like, how do you guess? Like, I mean, you just George Pickens hasn't done anything all year, and you think that like
connection to Rodgers to go in on the first week, not even a full week of practice, and be able to do stuff is tough.
I kind of
are bad.
Even if he didn't get like a ton of yardage, I was expecting actually him to get at least a lot more looks than he did. And I honestly was expecting the Jets to play a lot better than they did.
I think the Jets were expecting that all year.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I was thinking to myself in the moment, like, when Kara was waffling about, like, oh, who to play? Do I play Devontae Adams? I'm like, I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers' favorite wide receiver he's ever thrown to. Like, most likely he's probably going to, like, wouldn't be surprised if he gets thrown to a dozen times. And if he catches, at least 6 or 7 of those, I mean, he's going to have double-digit points.
There will be games like that for Adams. I don't know if it'll be routine enough to know when those games will happen.
No, I was not expecting just 3 receptions, and I mean, he did get thrown to a couple more, but one of them was a pick. The other one was,
I mean, Rodgers was throwing a number of picks.
Yeah.
this year.
A couple of them were drops and stuff. So,
but I will say, I don't think you can say, oh, she finally listened and switched him out and it went bad. Like he didn't do well because he got hurt.
Yes.
He did not do well because he just had a bad game.
No.
He would have done really well again. Like if she had kept Stroud in and Daniel stayed healthy, the difference in their 2-point values would have been like bad.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's see what I ended up writing here. The Lambs were able to jump to the number 2 seed spot right now.
Yep.
With that,
and if it wasn't for Kittle, he'd be in the 1 seed.
If it wasn't for Kittle, he certainly would be. So let's take a look at the standings here. We are halfway through the season, and we have one team above the others at 5-2. That would be your host here, Quarter Pounders.
Yep, the QPCs.
And you got a slew of 4 and 3s.
Man,
a lot of the Lambs, Milwaukee Muskoxen, New London Blue Golds, and the Fighting Fergles all tied, which is insane. I don't know if there's been that many people tied for second.
That's crazy.
In a year. And then that obviously leaves the absolute garbage trash rubble of the on the bottom, which would be the White Lightning, with a little beacon of hope above them in the Puffins.
So again, we can talk more about this, but we talked about this a little bit on the Discord. I mean, yes, Chuck, your team has struggled, but like at least you're scoring. I think you have a chance to like probably muscle out some of like whether it's Kara or my dad. I don't know. Josh's team is garbage because I mean he's getting bailed out by pretty much all his players every game. So I mean, once those guys
undersell Josh's or Jordan's team, he has 3 games over 100, and he has a 91, and his bad games aren't like he has 1 game under 80. And an 80 and an 87. Like these are more like.
But it's for the one game. One of those games over 100 is the first week, which I have a hard time counting statistically. Like it's not a true like example of what your team actually is.
I mean, but if Alex doesn't put up the highest score of the year right there, he's probably got 2 wins right now.
Yeah.
He lost when he scored 131. Also, he happened to play me when I got 150. He could very easily be at 3 wins right now. And then looking a little bit differently at things. But I agree. His scores are not great, and they weren't expected to be great. He did not have the draft capital to do it. We were all shocked after the first week, thinking like, holy crap, did he just like trade away his future last year and then it's not going to matter this year? But that's the beauty of the first week. We can overreact.
It's true.
And not look at things. Let's talk a little bit about being at the halfway point of the year here. Here's some stats that I found. I want to talk about leaders, statistical leaders. Actually, no, before we get into this, let's talk about the junk this week. Let's talk about what kind of moves have gone on.
I mean, let's just wait until Alex.
Isn't he here? He said he's here.
Yeah, he says he's here, but
okay, well then we'll go into the stats.
He's not officially in the pod yet, so
we'll go to the
stats that I see.
So when we look at statistical leaders for like most touchdowns, passing yards, rushing yards, field goals, and the least as well, there's actually only 4 teams that show up at all leading any categories, which is interesting. 4 others are just all in the middle. And you, sir, lead the league in touchdowns this year with 45 touchdowns.
Woo! I think I've led the leagues in the least amount of touchdowns last year.
You may have done it the last 3 years.
Yeah, probably combined.
Before we get too far, I'd like to thank Sam for recognizing that I do, in fact, hold this thing the entire time.
Yeah.
And we have had random people pop in thanks to the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
You also have the most passing yards and the most rushing yards.
Oh, wow.
So you are.
I'm holding a lot of. Is it by large margins, or are we talking?
That's the thing I don't know. I just know what you have. I don't know what everybody has.
Okay.
I would have to go through and like add up everybody's.
Yeah.
The Blue Golds hold the second most things. They have the most receiving yards.
Okay.
But they have, as I said, the least field goals and the least rushing yards.
Wow.
So that's kind of holding them back a little bit. The Puffins, shocker, have the least receiving yards. would have guessed?
Well, you took a step back this week with
I had
a
it.
-2.
I think I had it before this week too. Well, no, because receiving yards also is counted by running backs.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Too. So like it's a real hard stat to just nail down on your own. I also have the least passing yards.
Wow.
So as you can tell, my biggest flaws have been quarterback and wide receiver the whole year, and it's been enough to really drown my year a bit. But and then the last one is the Fergals have the least amount of touchdowns. So you have 45 as the most, and the Fergals have only 25.
Wow.
Total touchdowns.
20 more.
Yeah. So those are kind of the statistical leaders coming in here. So do you want me to start like I kind of wrote a little breakdown of each team going in order. Do you want to go to that? Do we want to get?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
All right. So and give us your thoughts. I'm sure even if you didn't write things down, you have things you're thinking about every team.
Sure.
About how
is this because of the half? You're talking about halfway point?
So look at the half. And honestly, I looked everywhere for my notebook from last year because I know that I made for sure. I predicted Kara completely turning around her year and making the playoffs.
I remember that
because she had just scored 3 weeks in a row of over 120 and finally got her first win.
Okay.
That one did not play out.
That did not. I mean, I think we both thought she would at least make a somewhat of a turnaround because I thought her team was severely unlucky.
I guess this year and last year she's just averaging out.
Yeah.
Your luck. So let's start with number 1, the QPCs. You're 5-2. You are second in points scored.
Yeah.
My favorite stat to seeing how good a team really is the EAE, the everyone against everyone.
Okay.
And so you are currently second in EAE. You would have a record of 28. You would have a record of 32-17.
Okay.
You played everyone. So that's pretty solid. You also are 75 points over your projections in total.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad at all. That's an average of 10 plus points a week you're getting for your projection. So that's
starting to make some headway from last year where I was severely under projecting.
Yeah. I think that you've looked a little mortal lately.
Felt a little mortal.
It's a different kind of, more tingling.
Yeah, well, I feel a little bit more,
But I still think you're hard out. I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, I'm playing the QPCs this week. Finally, I can catch a break,
Yeah.
You're still, I think, very likely to pop out at 130.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know that I think you might just be like super consistent. I don't know if you'll get a 150 this year, but you don't necessarily need to.
Don't need to.
You don't need to. What is your assessment of your team at the halfway point?
So I feel good. Obviously, you're right. The past 3 weeks, I have felt, even though I lost to Alex week 4, I felt better because I'm like, well, he got real, like, it was just like, well, I hit him on a day where he's going to hit 150. Like, there's very few times that you can probably look back and go, yeah, that one guy scored 150, but the other guy scored 170. Mm-hmm. Like,
it's happened every once in a very rare while, but it's not
usually the person that's scoring 150 is going to be kicking the butt of anybody who's playing him. So that didn't actually affect me. But then when beating Josh and it got close, and then losing to my dad by like getting crushed, that sucks. When you can't score. Now, granted, those week 6, I had a lot of people out on buys, but it still kind of hurts. And then even here, it felt like, am I going to win this game? Like, guys, like
I mean, by all means, you should not have won this game.
And I'm like, I just didn't feel good about it. And it seems like the guys that were scoring pretty heavy for me have been really mellowed out. Now, I was expecting, and I think I said this on the pod last week, I was expecting Jordan Mason to kind of like come back down to reality, because he was just like, those first like 3 games, he was scoring like 25 points, and it was just like, yeah, he's gonna rush for 125 yards and get like 2 touchdowns. And I was expecting it to drop. I am hopeful for the future, mainly because probably in 2 to 3 weeks I'll have Christian McCaffrey, and I think that'll be a big game changer.
I will say this. I think even though he's certainly not been the guy the last 3 weeks, I think one of the big moments of the year was Christian McCaffrey getting injured on Monday. Like the fact that nobody else knew about it. Otherwise, there's a very good chance someone else would have picked up Mason before you had an opportunity to. But because basically you were the only guy even able to, because you had someone that you could bench, pick him up. Just kind of
so weird. Yeah, being able to legitimately throw Christian McCaffrey on IR and pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have lost that game. That was the week one. I would have lost a couple of games because of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
the way the universe intertwines.
So I feel good. I do have a tough schedule, at least.
You get to play your dad twice, right? No, yeah?
No, Kara twice.
So I mean, Kara twice more. Never mind. Yeah. So you got niceness there. You don't have to play your dad again.
Do not have to play my dad again, which I mean, he smoked me, so it's like it is what it is. But like, it'd have been nice if I was like, I don't have to play Alex again. I don't have to play.
What about that? If he's able to tie you, he holds the tiebreaker this year in the head-to-head games against you.
Yep.
Points won't matter. So my prediction for the QPCs is 5-2 again in the second half to finish 10-4.
It looks like Alex is going to be joining us soon.
Good, we'll get his opinion too.
You think I'm going 10-4? Because that's what Yahoo thinks I'm going to do.
I didn't even look at the Yahoo thing for this.
I could see 10-4. I could see myself losing 2 games. I could see myself losing to
me.
I could see myself losing to you and I think Alex. So it depends. I think I have some people. Let me just look on my buys real quick. Week 12 is looking like it might hurt me.
I think 12 is a week with 6 teams on bye, so a lot of us will probably.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have a lot of guys that would replace my guys would be also on bye because I have a bunch of bench players that go by. So, who am I playing week 12? Is that Chuck? That is Chuck, man. You got me right where you want me, buddy.
Well, what does my team look like in week 12?
I don't know, but
I would have Bijan Robinson on bye, and that would be it.
Yeah, and you're pretty solid. I see Alex. Just looks like Alex is getting in. But yeah, that
4 is 8-6. I don't think you're gonna do worse than that. I
think
my your floor
8-6. 8-6. I don't see myself losing four games. I'd be okay with.
I did look up some stats on teams that have been 5-2 or better at the 7-game mark. And it's actually happened 11 times a team has been 5-2 and 4 times a team has been 6-1. We've never had a team be 7-0 at the 7-game mark. And interestingly, this is the first year that only one team had 5 or more wins. Every other year has had at least 2 teams be 5-2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or better. And several of the years had 3 teams be 5-2 or better. So we're it's part of the whole everybody being 4-3. They just cannibalizing themselves to a point there. So here's how it's turned out. The worst case scenario was the Swamp Men back in 2018 when they started 5-2 and then finished 5-9.
Oh, wow.
So that could happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Let's hope
I think we should dig into the Swamp Men of 2018 a little bit, maybe at some point.
Yeah.
And, see what the heck happened there. But one time they ended up with 7 wins. Twice they ended up with 8. 3 times, the most common, they ended up with 9 wins. Twice they got to 10 wins, and once they got to 11 wins.
Okay.
6-1 has fared better. They have twice gotten to 11 and once even gotten to 12. So the average looking at your statistically is going to be 8, 9, or 10 wins.
Okay. That's okay.
And I think that's good enough for this. The way that everybody's been so even against each other in that big mix, 10 wins very well could be top seed.
Be nice. All right. Well, Alex is here.
Let's bring him on.
Bring him on. All right. The chosen one. Interesting.
Well.
This guy in all his 6'4" glory.
What's up? Very funny, Chuck. Very funny.
And just in time for us to talk about the Lambs.
Yeah. Wait, hold up. Hold
Because
up.
you're in second right now because you did
Dave.
In week 5.
That is true. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate. Were you actually trying to convince Chuck that I was 6'4"?
I was just joking.
I don't know. I've never seen
He
you.
actually didn't know. Like he could.
No, he did not know. He did not know.
I think we did meet at the wedding, though. I'm pretty sure.
That's possible, but I wasn't looking.
Okay, that's.
I met a lot of people at that wedding for the first time, so I'm
yeah.
sure that I would not remember anybody's height.
And it may seem odd, but Chuck is not the most social person in the whole world. Like it may seem like he's just like social butterfly, but like Chuck is not a super social person.
No, not at all. Not with new people.
That is fair.
Alex is a camera. That means that if Dave had Alex's camera, he would have 2 cameras.
That's true. Alex missed that part of it.
I missed it. I'm sorry.
I was explaining something about the fact that I could add a second camera, and Sam took me out of context and was like, "So if I have if I had a second camera, I'd have 2 cameras." I'm like, "Yes," but if you take it out of context,
okay.
How's it going, Alex?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure you had a tumultuous day because of reasons.
Maybe.
Me?
Maybe Chuck more so than Dave.
Oh, because of the trade?
Yeah. Are you mad at me, Chuck? I'm sorry.
Am I mad? I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
I think you got a little bit of a steal there when we get into that later, but
yeah. Were we going to get into that now, or what's on the docket here?
Well, that's up to Dave. Do you want to keep going through the teams and then the trades, or do you want to talk about the trades?
Well, let's talk about the trades because we're mentioning that. So yeah, for all of those that don't know, we had some trades today.
2 trades.
Indeed.
So Alex was both none-vetoed.
They could be vetoed.
They could be vetoed.
Oh, they could still be vetoed.
Yeah. I mean, you got like 12 hours or whatever.
Okay.
That's 4 trades for Jordan this year.
So I think that one is you're getting Stephon Diggs for a 7th rounder or a 6th rounder?
6th. So
Stephon Diggs
he's getting Stephon Diggs and a 14th rounder.
So you're
that's
pretty negligible. Who wants Mr. Irrelevant?
That's just because you have to give it up. So it's
Let's
more.
Let's report accurately.
Sure,
it's true.
And then you're getting Lamar for a 3rd.
Yes. So your brother originally offered me 5th. He wanted a 5th round pick for Ramondre Stevenson and Stephon Diggs. Okay. I countered with just Stephon Diggs. I'm I don't know about Ramondre, and I knocked it down 1 level to a 6th round.
Okay.
So I thought, 5th is a little. I probably want my first 5 picks, and then
that didn't last long.
Right. So he accepted that, and then we were chatting in the group chat. And Sam kind of gave me a bit of an idea. Because I was thinking about
Sam gave you an idea?
Sorry, not Sam, Chuck. Did I say Sam?
Okay, Chuck. I'm like,
yeah.
Hey, he's joined the club. So there's an inside joke between Chuck, Sam, and myself.
Oh boy.
Where I'll always say I used to say Sam because I would start to say Chuck, but I meant talking about Sam. So I'd be like Sam. So Sam
That's
always
so funny.
called
I just did it.
Sam, but you did the opposite. Yeah, Sam, Chuck. Yeah.
My brain is a little fried.
No, you're good. So Chuck gave you an idea.
Yeah, well, we were just, because I was discussing that I was kind of interested in Lamar, and I'm, surprised no one else was. And, Chuck said, he'd probably be looking for like a top 3 or something. I was like, So I actually started a trade proposal for.
Oh, you proposed the trade?
I did.
Whoa,
Yep.
this is super breaking. I did not know that.
I just made a decision. I kind of want to go big or go home, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it because with Baker losing Godwin and Mike Evans, and people are going to step up, sure, but I don't know if I want to take that risk. And Baker, sorry, buddy, you're going to have to be on the bench for a minute if our trade goes through.
The good news for the league is that honestly, Jackson at like the ceiling is basically doing what Mayfield's already doing. So like this probably won't change your scores that you've been getting.
Right.
It's
Ideally.
more of a proactive keep the scores there.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Unless you did accidentally get 2022 Jackson.
That was another point of discussion I was trying to make was like, I know it's not looking like it, but it's very possible anything can happen. Lamar could get injured. Who knows what could happen?
Well, and I mean, you're getting, it seems like the Ravens are hitting their stride. So you're hitting it at the right time.
Yeah.
Is there a problem that he'll have? Because you have Henry, don't you?
I do have Henry.
So is there going to be a problem having Henry and Jackson tied together?
Doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like there has been. But you have a good point, Chuck.
He scores 25. Lamar scores 37. It's like
that's a really interesting point because game script. You would think that would be the case with game script of they're running the ball more.
Pretty much either run the ball down a team's throat or throwing it all over the place.
Right.
So if you have both of them, you pretty much win no matter what.
Yeah, that's the idea. Are there any vetoes on the trades at all at this point?
You can't tell. You won't know until.
We won't know
unless the trade
gets one on.
Oh, that's dramatic. Oh boy. So just gotta cross your fingers and hope.
Trades isn't really on the Alex side. I think the first trade is like totally fair. Whatever, it's fine. We're talking a mid-round pick. We're talking just kind of patching up a spot. I have no problem with that trade at all. And honestly, the Jackson trade is whatever, I guess. It's just what we do now, I guess. It's the world we live in.
To be fair, sorry, go ahead, Chuck.
The thing is more from Jordan's point of view. Like, clearly, he's trying to do what Dave did last year and sell off teams and gather picks. And he's taking basically his best player probably and just taking a third for it.
Not probably, I think he is.
Why? A third round pick isn't going to be near what happened with Dave this year. So
I'm surprised you didn't try to make it like a conditional second or something like I did with Jordan.
So when I proposed the trade to Jordan, I literally wrote in the comments on the trade, it gives you a little comment bubble. Like I was like, feel free to counter because I was offering a third round. And he just said, oops, I accepted. We'll see.
So does that mean he was going to counter, but he accidentally clicked?
I don't know, but
I don't think so.
Is he just being an agent of chaos now? Like just out players?
I thought for sure he was going to counter with I want a first round pick, and then I was going to say second round.
Did you hear that, Jordan? Oh, Jordan's probably not in. He's asleep. But Jordan, if you're listening to this,
I wish we had Jordan here.
You could have gotten a second round pick.
Jordan's guy just fascinates me.
Could have gotten a second.
It just fascinates me because I just don't. He's not going to be as successful at it as like now. He's going to obviously have all his picks, and an extra third round pick is great.
He's going to have basically 2 picks in the third round, 2 picks in the fifth round.
Presumably, he'll be picking first, 9th, 17th, and then like probably around 20 something.
Pretty good.
So he'll have 4 top 25 picks, I guess.
So
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I understand why. I mean, I don't know if it would have been hard for me to offer a first for Lamar. Now I know like the spot if you're desperate. Like if I was on Chuck's spot, I might be like thinking second first just to try to boost up your quarterback. But like the quarterback, like if you think about the worth, like Lamar is probably ceiling worth a third. Like I know Josh says he's the best player in fantasy football right now, but like still he's a quarterback.
Yep.
And in this league, for the most part, kickers can score more than quarterbacks at some time. Like it's easier for a
that's
kicker
more
to
rare,
score
but
25 points than it seems like sometimes these quarterbacks.
Well, if you're running Todd's kicker method, it will be very rare.
Yeah. Yeah. 5
Burn.
goals all year.
That is nuts.
That's crazy.
I'm looking at Jordan's team right now, and there's nobody that he could get a first round pick for.
No. I got that conditional first round for
a conditional would have been great. This would have been a great.
I don't know how to do that.
You can't. It's not. It's more of like a. It's more of like a
agreement.
Agreement. It's a verbal agreement. Like
Yeah.
Jordan and I's was a verbal agreement. It was like
because like in your actual trade last year, he gave you a second, right?
No, a third.
A third. And then when the conditions were met, Josh had to go in and change it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he was a third. It was for a third for Austin Eckler, and it was a first round if he won it.
And it's crappy because the Eckler trade is not what did it for him.
I know. It was the Amon-Ra St. Brown trade.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I don't know. It's just
curious.
So I'm curious to see if he tries to get a bunch of like third and fourth round picks and hope that he then gets a ton of value next year. Because really right now what I'm seeing from him is that his experience for the next 7 weeks is going to be even worse.
Well, so like he has like obviously
he's getting like
Joe Burrow,
Najee Harris next year.
Like as a keeper?
No, just a third round pick.
Oh, that's who you think he's going to get is
like someone of that level potentially. Like a third round pick could be a
he could pair both of his third round picks to trade for a second round pick for somebody. You never know.
Can you do that?
Yeah, of course you can just trade
a straight pick trade.
Yeah,
that's interesting. So Chuck, I do want to just say as a secondary piece, if I were in your shoes and Josh's shoes, I would totally understand.
Jordan's shoes or Josh's shoes?
Am I doing it again? No, Josh, you and Josh, because Josh was very upset today.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's the...
and because that was me last year. I was very upset that all these trades that seemed unfair to me were happening.
Well, that one last year was unfair, and we successfully vetoed it to make it more fair.
With the one with Dave and
it was like a fourth round or something.
St. Brown one we vetoed to make him up that price.
Yeah, because like originally he had offered Kara like a fourth round pick for it.
Okay. Well, and the other thing was Sam had dropped Jefferson, right? And you just picked him up. What?
Trade you?
It's not fair.
You wanted it.
What's that, Chuck?
And Kara refused to work with you on St. Brown.
Well, there is that too. There is that.
Sorry, continue your thought.
No, so I'm just trying to say that, I see where you're coming from, and I totally wouldn't blame you at all if you wanted a veto, and if Josh wanted a veto, and if people got enough to veto. Because
enough to veto, because Dave would never veto. Jordan, you would veto. I could possibly get Sam to veto. But like
Sam, Kara, and
I'm not going to get Kara's not going to veto.
Okay.
So
Dad probably won't.
I also agree that
been paid for job. Are you sure? I got to talk to my people.
That's why Dave was asking for addresses this week. He's like, I got to mail
that big check, buddy. That big check coming.
Oh, that's excellent.
Sponsored by Whiskery.
I mean, I guess it's just the world we're in now.
Well, so okay, that's what makes me say this, because when you're saying, "Oh, this is just what we do now," I don't want it to be that way. I don't want there to be all these behemoths at the top, and then like a few ties in the middle, and then garbage on the bottom, like you were saying, or whatever.
I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with the amount of trades. I don't think the trades have caused the spread that is.
So yeah, that's fair. And I'm in one other league, which you guys are aware of, and we don't allow trades for draft picks in that league. So that would be one way to
sounds
to resolve this. Well, it does make the league more competitive, I guess.
Well, yeah.
The philosophy of the league is, if you want your philosophy to be more of each year is a fresh start, we're all starting the same, then you definitely don't want to be trading picks.
Right.
and we're kind of in a middle ground, like Dave was saying before the show. Obviously, dynasties would be on the other end of that spectrum where everything stays
right. Mm-hmm.
We have the keeper, and we've even talked occasionally about a second keeper, which I would be vehemently against.
We do 3 keepers.
And honestly, I don't really like keepers that much because it really lowers the value of the first round pick.
I agree.
For a lot of people. But so the picks, I don't know. I guess it's a way of taking your pain this year and buying hope for next year, as Dave was saying, that none of us can understand who haven't been in that position.
Well, Chuck, okay, so like if I'm going to get on my soapbox here.
Please do.
Chuck's been on the bottom of our league before. And so, I mean, I think he can somewhat, but he can somewhat like get into the shoes here, kind of rationalize with this. But like people like Josh have no reference point for this. Cause I mean, as long as I've known, Josh has been pretty much in the middle, top half, middle of the league. Sometimes middle bottom, but like never true bottom. And so as someone who is legitimately bottom, missed the playoffs 3 years in a row, there is
Josh has not finished at the bottom since 2017. He was last place then.
Wow.
There is and it's not just because I think,
but he also has no championships.
I think 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, my first last place title, if you want to call it that. That one I fought for as hard as I possibly could because it was kind of close. There was still a chance. I think leading up even to the second to last week, there was still a shot, and that was with a 4-team playoff.
That is incorrect, but yes,
that is incorrect.
In 3 years ago, you finished 4-11.
Yeah,
the cutoff for the playoffs was 8-7.
Yeah, so
not in the last 2 weeks.
But if in the last 2 weeks they won 2 and I lost 2,
that's true. I guess it's possible if that was the case.
So there was still like a shot. But that's where I was last year, and where Jordan is this year is this moment of realization that I have to win out, and I need somebody.
There's no way.
One of those 4 and 3 teams has to lose 4 games.
Yeah, there's just no way.
For me to even like have a shot at the playoffs.
Hey, remember the swamp people of 2018?
True, you lose 9 games in a row.
Oh no!
Went 5-2 and then lost out.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh,
that could be you, Dave. That could be you.
It could be me. It could turn into me.
I doubt that.
But
didn't Josh say? Sorry, Dave. Didn't Josh say that after he realized how in the hole Jordan was, he's like, "Well, I guess I can see it," or something.
No, because
he said that.
Well, he may have conceded.
He may have said it, but he wasn't thinking it.
You have to understand my brother Josh is like the most optimistic, overconfident person on the face of the planet. If Josh was 0-7 right now, he'd say he still has a chance.
I can see that.
He could be 0-10 and he'd be like, you know what? There might be some mathematical thing.
Honestly,
it's not impossible.
I could taste. Can I blanket? Like attempting. Can I blanket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get where Jordan is, and what he's doing is he's trying to do his best to play for next year. He's trying to help his team as best as he can because he cannot do anything. You know, his team is not good enough to play and I mean, you're talking about like in order to get if Jordan was if you're putting yourself in Jordan's shoes, you're looking at your team. Let me look at the matchups again last week. Jordan scores 90 points, I think. And that's with Lamar Jackson scoring 37 points.
That is bonkers.
And
that's bad.
For the lowest point.
So, I mean, he has 87.63 points, and he looks at every other person in the league. The lowest scoring points is 111 points or 108 points. Kara scored 108 points. And so he's 20 points away from the second lowest scoring person. I totally get where Jordan's at because it's just like, I can't compete with this league. Like, I'm just not even close to where I need to be.
Yeah.
And so you get where Jordan is like, okay, I think it's time to like call the season what it is and try my best to help myself for the next season. Now, Josh might be saying like it's so close or it's still so early and stuff like that, but like when you know, you know.
Affected very much by the 4-3 syndrome as well.
And Jordan's definitely going to be
here at 3-3.
Jordan's definitely going to be better at this than I was because I get really like depressed and upset and angsty, so I stopped pretty much caring. Jordan, I'm guaranteed you're going to see Jordan hunting the waivers. He's going to be trying to like sludge up all those like or drudge up all the like best players he can possibly do with what's out there. So
you'll never know who will be a good keeper.
You might see Jordan make quite a few moves. You might see Jordan making quite a few moves.
I just don't know about that. He didn't make a single move this week. All he's done so far recently is drop 2 guys that were on IR. The last time he actually picked up a player was Bucky Irving on October 12th.
That's a good pickup.
And the Atlanta defense.
Good pickup.
But I mean,
so it's not like he's been actively hunting the wires.
No, I don't think he's doing
that. But he's still
now.
somewhat active and more active than some other league participants.
Kara.
I mean, he's only got
more active than I am.
And Kara, who will never do anything unless there's a complete hole in their roster. And Dave, who has no need to be digging into the waivers.
Yet he still will.
I dug into waivers this week. The problem is I cannot. When you are on the top of the league with the way the waivers work, there's
you just picked up Austin Siebert. Way to go!
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I had him. I picked him up like I think you're looking at the like that's. I picked him up like way before earlier today.
Watch Dave suddenly put up like a 170 because his kicker goes crazy.
No, but like I cannot troll the waiver wire. There's no point for me to troll the waiver wire on Mondays or Tuesday. I just have to wait for it all to finish because if I try to grab somebody and somebody else tries to grab them, they're automatically going to get them before me.
I will say though that
you just have to wait
compared to the other league I'm in where it's all based off of basically just the pick order. Like when you pick, you just go down, you get knocked down to the bottom.
That's where we were last year.
Yeah, right. And I like this more. I think it makes more sense.
It's more fair, I think.
Oh yeah, it gives Jordan the best opportunity to improve his
makes the most sense to me.
If he actually were to do
honestly, it creates a new strategy.
Yeah,
think week 1 and 2, so you can see who emerges.
Ooh, that's good. That's
coming from the man who doesn't want people to break the system.
Now that is strategic tanking.
That is that would be actually a good idea.
Speaking of other good ideas, I was talking with Jordan.
Okay.
And, we may have a situation on our hands here where, say I win this year, and then Jordan has a really good draft next year and I'm sucking, maybe I make some trades for picks and then the year after that I win.
Well,
it's just a cycle.
What you're talking about is Chuck's worst nightmare come to life.
Yeah,
exactly what he was worried. That is honestly what he was worried about.
The thing that I hate the most is the idea that
I'm kidding.
Every year somebody sucks enough that they just sell off the farm.
Right.
Somebody who's mid-tier shoots up to the top. And then if you don't take part in that arms race, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's my biggest fear. I don't see that near as much this year as I saw last year.
I was joking with Jordan that
first round picks.
We could have an alliance,
Could have an alliance. Jordan, however, was destined to finish 8th this year anyway, and he's destined to win it next year.
Yeah, because he gave up all his draft capital.
Because 2021 he finished 1st, 22 he finished 8th, 23 he finished 1st, and 24 he probably will finish 8th.
That is so funny that it's that pattern.
And we also can know that no matter what, he will lose week 1 next year as well, because that's what he does.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
That's how it goes. All right. Well, that's just where we are on trades. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I would be lying if I didn't say the thought of selling something off has not crossed my mind. The sweet taste of it has tickled my tongue. taste buds have danced at the
I'm
thought.
sure you were looking at
Tell
Lamar
us
just
Jordan
going,
Williams for a first rounder.
like if would Jordan have offered you, like, Chuck, if Jordan were to say, hey, I give you Lamar for like a 5th round pick, would you have taken it?
I kind of want to see how Caleb Williams does.
Really? You think you have Caleb Williams right now?
Yeah.
He sure does. I saw that. I noticed that.
I picked him up last week on his bye.
You don't have Komet too, do you?
No.
Okay.
No, I have Hawkinson. Hopefully he gets healthy. And I picked up
Oh.
I picked up Otten thinking that he'll pretty much be the Buccaneers.
I thought about that. I was actually thinking about that the night after the game. I was like, man, Cade Otten looked really good. And he only got 12 points or something, but
for tight end.
Oh, but now he's Now he's going to be the only receiver that can catch.
Exactly. So that's a good
Which
pickup.
0 targets.
That's a good pickup. Mm-hmm.
That's true. All right, so let's continue with what we were.
So we're on the Lambs. We are on the Lambs, so we can get out of the assessment too. So here's just you're 4-3, obviously. You're first in points scored. You are first in EAE. You would be 33-16 if you played everyone every week, which is only one above Dave, but you still would be in first right now. You are, and this is the stat I told you about, how much Yahoo hates you.
Yeah. Yes, I can't.
Honestly, it's probably deserved after some of the things you said about it last year.
Yeah,
that's what's going on. That's
true.
On. It hears all.
Alexa
relays the messages.
Oh my God, I don't have Alexa.
Siri relays the messages.
I don't have Siri.
You don't have an iPhone?
I have Android, bro.
Yeah.
Well,
Android,
whatever Android listens to you.
Yeah, Google.
Could be Alexa.
Yeah, Google's listening.
Related to
sorry, I cut you off though. Go.
Right.
Keep
so
talking.
you scored 175 points over your projections this year.
Wow.
You're averaging 25 points over your projection every week.
That's insane.
That's how bad Yahoo thinks you're going to be every week.
Thank you. I'll just take a bow. Thank you.
And it doesn't matter. Yahoo keeps selling.
My goodness, really? It still isn't like me, huh?
They think that you're going to finish in 5th place at with 6 and 8.
Well,
they
granted,
believe that you're only going to win 2 more games.
But the trades haven't gone through yet.
No, that is true.
So if the trades go through, maybe it might change its tune a bit.
Maybe.
It'll probably just start. It'll stop talking about this year and be like, well, since you don't have a 3rd round pick next year, you're going to go.
But that is still surprising that even after that win, it's still saying
it's one thing I
going to
know
win
about Yahoo projections is that they are stubborn.
Yeah.
Like Laporta continues to get like an 8 every week for a projection. He doesn't get it. He's not going to get it. I could drop him and nobody will even consider picking him up. But Yahoo is still going to say, oh, he could get an 8 this week.
Yeah.
Wait, he could. So could like captain 4th string guy over here. Like they could.
Yeah.
They're going to. Anyway.
I hear you.
Mike Evans, the injury hurts a little bit, but he wasn't really your top scorer lately. He's had like a good game and then some not as great games. So I don't think it's going to kill you that bad.
That's true.
I'm predicting that you also go 5-2 and end at 9-5.
Okay. And my losses would be
could go as well as 10-4. I could see that. Well, I predict that your losses. Let me look at your thing here.
Because I'm playing you.
I think when I look at our rivalry and I look at you having to play Dave and then Sam and Todd, I could just see 2 of some of those matchups being losses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you lose to Kara. I don't think you lose to Jordan, and I think you probably could split with me at least.
Okay, yeah,
that's right. Destroy me.
I could see that.
But I think that just 2 of those 4 or 5 matches could be losses.
Okay.
It's hard to go 7-0.
It is.
It's very hard.
So you think he's going 5-2? You think he'll?
I think 5-2 to be 9-5.
Okay.
And probably still win the points scored. But what's your thought on? What's your assessment on your teams at the halfway point?
Well, I wish I had the stats up. That's my fault. I feel pretty good about my team. I feel better after the trades. I had to do something, with Baker losing his like 2 in one game, losing your best 2 receivers Like your number one guy, and then your
I mean, the
superstar,
Rams
who
got
is
close to that. They lost 2 in 2 weeks.
that is true. That is true. And but I feel like Sean McVay's coaching is just so astronomically brilliant.
He's not Todd Bowles.
He's found a right. He's found a way.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's see. Week 7. I can't believe we're at week 7 already.
It's pretty crazy.
It's insane. Zay Flowers was a ghost. He turned into a ghost just in time for Halloween. Because I think he hurt his knee or something.
I mean,
he got a little banged up. But
possible.
I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be talking about the coming week, right?
Well,
no,
so we want to know. So Chuck,
Okay.
since this is the halfway point, Chuck always does like, what does he think every other team is gonna like end up?
Yeah. Okay.
So we're looking at just general feel for the rest of the year. What you think?
Yeah, I'm happy to have Kittle. He's been better than I expected, honestly, because last year Kittle was like pretty up and down.
I think he's been the biggest beneficiary of the problems in San Francisco.
Yes. You think so? Yeah. He did have 1 week where he has a 0.
As tight ends do.
Yeah.
Most do. I think Kelsey had it.
Yeah.
Something.
Gotta be honest, I'm pretty proud. I think I'm the most proud of my kicker selection and my defense selection.
You have been hitting it pretty well.
I think the Bears are ranked.
Definitely.
What's that?
Boswell definitely worked well for you.
Yeah,
he's no Austin Siebert.
The thing with Boswell is my very first year in fantasy football, like 3 years ago or something. I just remember him having so many games where he just had like a ton, when a kicker just really goes off and they get like 30, 40, something crazy like that. He had like a few of those games. And so I knew he had a leg. I knew he was on a team where, you've got Mike Tomlin, who is going to trust his kicker. And so I'm proud of my kicker. I think the Bears are ranked 4th or 5th in defense. So I'm probably going to be sticking with them. And it's kind of nice to just have faith in you. Like you don't have to really worry about, streaming a kicker and a defense. So I'm happy about that. And I like the fact that Pollard is like the guy. Tajay Spears, I think, is their other back, but Pollard is like their goal line guy typically, and I'm pretty proud of his performance as well. So,
what do you see as your record?
Man, I haven't really looked at who I'm going to be matching up against, but
it doesn't matter. This is just a brief look.
I know.
Knee-jerk reactions. That way we can be wrong.
I think I could go. How many games are left?
7.
I think I go 7-0.
Ooh.
With Lamar Jackson.
He's confident here. That would put it 11 and 3.
Yeah.
Crazy. 11 has only been reached 1, 2, 3 times in our league's history.
Really?
Has 11 wins. The Ferrets did it in 2018. That was Sam. Todd did it in 2022. Or I guess, 4 times because one's a 12 with stuff. And then I've done it twice.
So one thing, I'd say I am pretty worried about McCaffrey coming back. I'm assuming I'll be playing you, Dave.
He just keeps getting kicked down.
Well, what's that?
He just keeps getting kicked down the road. Like it keeps
McCaffrey.
Another setback.
Hey, if he shows up for the playoffs, I'm all right. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Not his playoffs, my playoffs.
Right. Well, the thing about the Niners is they've had some trouble with red zone offense. A lot of trouble. And the reason is because they don't have Christian McCaffrey, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious. So him coming back, that could be a problem for me, because I'm assuming I face you, Dave.
What, in the playoffs?
No, just
regular
before this. Yeah, before.
Yeah, we play one. We play one more time.
I'm guessing I might lose to you, but
maybe.
Yeah.
So you're thinking like probably worst case scenario, you get 10 wins.
I think so, and if I face Josh again, that
you
could be
play me week. You play me week 10, Alex.
Okay.
Which is the technical start date of when Christian McCaffrey should play.
Oh,
That's their
okay.
current
That's
projected
good.
date.
That will be fun. I'm also a little concerned
Not a
about
guarantee, but that's where they want it. That's where
Sure.
I think that's after the Niners bye. So
Okay. If I face Josh again, that'll be a big revenge game from his standpoint, probably. He'll want to beat me pretty bad, and I'll bet the Czech Squadron Zorchers will be back if that happens. Do we face each other?
yeah, you guys face each other again.
Cool.
No, actually, you do not.
Oh, it'll be in the playoffs.
Czech
That's
Squadron,
right.
That's right. This is Czech Squadron
Yeah.
Searchers was a one-off game.
Yep. And of course, they prevailed over the Flamoids.
Naturally.
Yep.
Did you catch my
I loved it, man. Dude.
Did
you play Chex Quest as a kid, or did you?
So just real.
Did you just look it up?
No, we got the CD in the box.
Okay.
Like the CD came in the cereal, right? I'm pretty sure. Like, wasn't it? It was one of those.
It came in.
It was one of those prizes where you pull the CD out of the cereal as a prize.
Yep.
We were visiting my grandparents at the time, and their computer could not play the CD.
That's insane.
Their computer could not play
a Doom ROM.
I know. It's just
MS-DOS.
It was an old computer, and it was just like it would try and play it, and the opening cinematic was like 2 frames a second, and I couldn't do it, unfortunately. Maybe if we could have gotten past that cinematic, the game would have played, but that cinematic, it just couldn't play it. So, but anyways, yes, I was aware of Chex Quest as a kid, so I couldn't resist the opportunity. I know, Chuck, you're not a big fan of name changes in the middle of the season, so
I mean, you changed it back. It was fun.
Yeah, so
I changed it back, but
I wanted to do something fun to kind of reignite my loss the week before, I think. But yeah, so Josh, if you're listening, hopefully I see you in the playoffs.
All right, well, let's talk about Josh, because Josh is the third place team right now.
Do you guys want to keep me on here? Because I can pop off. I mean,
if you have to go, you can.
Yeah. So. If there was anything else you wanted me on, I could stay on.
No, it's fine. I mean, if you gotta go, you can go. We can keep
I'd like it.
Okay, let's just do quick before Alex leaves. Let's
look at his game.
Let's look at his game and look at we'll just run through your picks real quick.
Which I did not make any of, I don't think, yet.
No, just but you can say them. You can say them right here. We'll go through.
Okay.
So let's go through your.
Give me your context here. We got Puffins versus the Lambs rivalry week. Rivalry week. 2-5 Puffins against the 4-3 Lambs. Last time out, the Puffins got 123. The Lambs got 95. It was the Puffins' second highest score of the year and the Lambs' lowest score of the year. Right now, it looks close.
Sure does. Yep, by what, 3 points ish? Almost exactly 3 points.
Almost exact.
Oh my. Tank Dell, he's been a little bit of a disappointment so far this year.
Yeah, I was going to ask for some wide receiver advice.
From
I've got
me?
a number of them right now. Not from you.
Oh.
I picked up Hopkins as soon as I saw that trade happened. I don't think he's worth starting this week, but I would.
I totally missed that. I totally missed that trade. I didn't hear about that until well after it happened.
Hopefully he develops into something that I can start.
He could.
My whole time is just, can somebody develop into something that I can pick up? If Samuel is still out, I think Jennings could be worthy, but I don't know if I'm just point chasing his week 3 performance. But he'd pretty much be like
Jennings. He could. The Fantasy Focus Live podcast shout out that I listen to. If you don't mind me mentioning that. They're big on Juwan Jennings right now, I believe. Which, if Debo is not playing, if Kittle is questionable still, but that's probably not going to be a thing.
And then I've got Moore, who is generally the highest ranked receiver that I have, and probably has a really good matchup against Washington.
DJ Moore?
Yeah.
You don't have him in, though.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm saying I could put him in.
Oh, yeah. You sure could.
I feel like
use my bear against me.
I feel like Dell. I don't know. I don't know if I trust Smith, and Dell Smith. I don't know if I trust him. I don't think he's gonna put up another stinker, but gosh, it's like I just know that all these guys are so close together that whoever I put in is going to do worse than those I leave on the bench.
I understand why you have David Montgomery on your bench, but man, I have Montgomery in my other league, and man, I gotta say, he is just a beast. David Montgomery is.
I mean, it was good that I didn't play him last week. He put up 5 points.
Well, yeah, but that hasn't been typical from him. He's been rock solid.
Tough defense, and he's going against a tough defense again. I don't know.
Yeah.
And when I look at my other running backs, I've got Hubbard, Robinson, and Williams. Who am I going to kick out?
Speaking of the Jets, just real quick, did you guys touch on the news that just broke with Robert Saleh?
Oh yeah, he was at the Packers practice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that until right before the pod.
He's working with the offense.
Offense?
What?
Yeah, because if you will listen to LaFleur's press conference today, he talked pretty extensively on it, and they asked if he's gonna be like a consultant or something for the defense, and he's like, no, I don't want him touching the defense because of what the defense is doing now.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good, and I don't want to mess that up. But he's just going to be fluid. He said the word fluid. He's just going to be like in and out, and he's like he's here until Friday, and then he's leaving and spending time with his family, and then he might come back next week. And really, all he's doing is he's learning how to be more offensively minded as a head coach because he's taking the year off, and then he's using his defensive expertise to help them think more defense. More about defense.
That almost makes it more of a power move, in my opinion.
They did.
You know what? Rodgers came here. I'm going to the Packers.
Apparently,
power move.
Apparently, they did something.
Let me see what Hackett was really about.
They said something similar happened with another head coach that happened 2 yeyears ago, where he just would come in and just kind of almost as this weird in and out consultant, and just trying to so just trying to be mentored by Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, interesting.
All right, so
we should get back to it though. Yeah,
here's my thought. I'm thinking Williams is going to have a good game. I think Otten's going to have a good game, and I'm hoping that Cleveland's defense holds Henry down a little bit, and that that Pollard gets held back a little bit by Detroit's defense. And if I can get the right wide receivers in, I should be able to do it. So I'm picking the Puffins.
Wow,
you're picking Puffins.
All right.
I will only pick against me when it's a clear.
Well, and the fact that I'm here on the pod, I mean, you can't pick me right now, and I'm not going to pick you either.
Of course.
I got to pick myself. But, and assuming I get Jackson, assuming I get Stephon Diggs, that should bump my projection up by maybe 10 points.
Yeah, now I'm...
because I will be putting Stephon Diggs in, and I will be putting Lamar Jackson in if I get them. So yeah, I'll take myself. And then my Bears defense, I'll put that back in.
I had originally picked Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
But that was before the Lamar Jackson news broke, and I might push you over the edge. I'm gonna hedge my bet against Alex, just to kind of also kind of picking against Alex just because he was so whiny this week. So it's really easy to him.
How many Monday nights does he have?
Not bad.
Not
bad.
Oh yeah. He has a kicker right now, Monday night.
By the way, I would totally live stream myself for you guys.
You should do it. I don't have any Monday night in right now, so this isn't going to be one of those games.
Okay, one quick thing I will say, as a Bears fan, I am pretty nervous. Bears coming off their bye, everyone thinks they're going to be great. I'm just so nervous that they're just going to come out and not be the same team.
They also
just crash and burn.
It's not about them being
losing.
It's not about them necessarily being a different team, Alex, but they really haven't. And I mean, I think that goes to show with a lot of the NFC North. And you can say the same thing with the Packers. Up until maybe this past week for the Packers, they really hadn't played anybody with a winning record. The Bears have not played anybody with a winning record. And it's nothing to say about
I feel like they've had one good win. What's that, Chuck?
the NFC North in general has been boosted by its not
True.
playing each other and having the AFC South.
It's possible.
Yeah.
That is very possible.
The AFC South is other than the.
Didn't the Bears beat the Rams?
Yeah, but the Rams don't.
I know they're banged up, but
It's not that they're banged up; it's that they don't have a winning record.
Well, yeah.
The Rams are when the Bears played the Rams, they were 1-3.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have beaten the Jaguars, the Panthers, the Rams. You lost to the Colts and the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, they haven't played the Titans yet?
You have
Texans
played
was the second game though, I think, and Caleb was still kind of getting in his stride at that
the
point.
Titans. They beat the Titans
Week 1.
week 1, which again, week 1 doesn't count. It counts.
Okay.
It counts only for the wins and losses, but it doesn't really count as in the grand scheme.
All right.
I just kind of showed that the Titans were bad this year.
Yeah.
All right. So Dave, you are taking who?
I'm taking you.
All right. Okay, we'll see.
And Kara's picking Chuck.
Oh, she probably doesn't know about the trade.
I am not surprised, Kara. Not surprised. That is okay. That is okay.
She still brings up the granola bar incident, Alex.
I swear.
You remember that?
Oh, I remember it. I was being sarcastic, and she did not pick up on the sarcasm.
I know.
I was trying to make a
Shut up and eat
joke. Yeah.
Oh, you got dark chocolate.
I was acting like a child on purpose, and she did not catch the sarcasm.
She can be about as bad as you with that.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
What do you mean?
My charm hasn't worked on her very well.
Oh, I see.
I got stories to tell that are NSFWs that Chuck said in her presence on the first time he ever met her.
There's plays that she has that show she doesn't like me. Like when I last week messaged her to see if there's anything she'd be interested in to Daniel, she completely ghosted me. Not even a no, I'm not interested, just nothing.
She told me that you had messaged her, but that she
polite. That's okay.
Anyway, let's go to
who's next?
Yeah, let's do a quick next game. Let's do my game. Why not?
Sure.
The married couples.
All right, you got the 4-3 Fergals and the 5-2 QPCs. The last time out, the QPCs won 134-109. It's a very close projection. At least it was last night, or when I was looking at this, I think.
It is 111-110 right now, and actually it was higher until I put Siebert in.
Yes, that'll
Siebert lowered my projections.
It's close.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the Fergals winning is worse for me, so that's what's going to happen. Because honestly, I think the Fergals are the only team that I could conceivably pass. So they're going to win.
She took out Achan.
But I am actually going to pick the QPCs. I think that possibly Tua coming back will jolt her team with Hill and Achan.
Here's a fun question. Would you guys rather pick up Russell Wilson or Tua Tagovailoa?
I tried Tua and he got a concussion, so I won't do that again.
Yeah. With Russell Wilson, you kind of know more what you're getting right now.
Russell could. So I think the thing is Russell Wilson did play well, but I think that a lot of people are underestimating how bad the Jets are. I don't think they're a very good team.
Anytime a quarterback
has taken steps way back since they.
Anytime a quarterback comes in for their first start mid-season, they do better than they will.
That's a good point.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Joe Flacco though. Joe Flacco
was the exception.
He was an exception
because the person he was replacing was so awful. The team had to.
And did you see Russell just floating those balls? Just
rainbows.
Yeah. Like the touch he has on the ball is just like whoop, it goes way up.
But dude,
like,
I watched the game again. You're also dealing with the Chris Collinsworth effect, where if you listen to Chris Collinsworth do commentary, it sounds like Russell Wilson's the greatest player of the football that has ever lived.
He has a bit of a golden voice, that's for sure.
Yeah,
So,
and
do you think she
somehow the Jets are not a bad team, and they just need a couple of pieces.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers just is going to get better and better every week, which is not going to be the case.
So I'm kind of surprised that Kara hasn't put Tyreek Hill back in a little bit.
Well, so here's the deal. You also underestimate my wife's ability to care until about Thursday night.
Yeah, okay. All
So,
right.
like we talked about this last week on the
Yep.
pod, she will not change her team until she will make sure that her Thursday night lineup, that
Yeah.
there's nobody on buys on Thursday night, and then she really doesn't look at her lineup again until Saturday night, Sunday morning. Usually on the way to church, she is changing her team.
All right. Well, if I take into account what's on her bench, in case she plays it, what's on your bench, I mean, your team hopefully is a little more set, I would assume.
Yeah.
I would probably still pick you, I think.
Okay.
I think you just.
Who's amazingness?
What's that?
Who's amazingness? Because it's true, I do.
Are all three of us picked them, Dave?
Oh, is Chuck picking me?
I guess you didn't listen to me. I did pick you.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Charles.
Saquon Barkley's game log
I would not be shocked if the Fergals win, but
right.
I think your team is more.
Yeah, and I also picked
you because I think you win out. You winning doesn't help me at all. Doesn't change anything for me. So
you just talked about randos. All right, here we go. Trade Garrett Wilson and Darnell Mooney for T. Higgins and Amari Cooper. Full PPR. I'm 6-1.
If you're 6-1, there's no need to change anything.
So Garrett Wilson.
I don't know about that.
I never trust T. Higgins. So Joseph,
I just was offered T. Higgins this week, and I was like, he just is the kind of guy that at some point could just stop.
I'm assuming this is a slightly deeper league too. This is probably a 12-team league.
Oh, Sam's putting in a pick. He's picking me.
Oh, that's good. Wow. Thanks, Sam.
Appreciate it.
I think Higgins and Cooper is getting that's a better deal. Like Garrett Wilson,
Sam's like our super enthusiastic super fan.
Higgins and Cooper are two contributors right now. Mooney is like
exactly.
For a while he'll be great, and Wilson, who knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So you could trade
Wilson and Mooney for them. Go ahead and do it.
If someone accepts that trade, they're kind of stupid, probably.
Bye, Joe.
So if you can get that trade, great.
And also, Joe, say hi to Rich for us.
Yeah, please do.
Anyways.
So next we'll go with speaking of Sam. So Sam, if you want to throw in your
Dave or Kara
predictions for me or Kara, throw that up there. I'll add you up. Our next one will be. I had diarrhea from McDonald's last week, so I'll pick Chuck. Long week. We're not playing each other.
Lord.
It's Kara and I get the E. coli joke. That's funny. So we're picking between Josh and Sam right now. Sam did change his logo officially to a musk oxen in front of that art center in Milwaukee.
Oh, that's funny.
He's assuming one of those AI things.
Well done.
It looks like a buffalo.
Here's your context here. We have 4-3 Flemoids and the 4-3 musk oxen. Last time out, the Flemoids won 145-81. Big beatdown.
Man, Josh Allen is just a powerhouse. He really is.
So I definitely have more questions about Sam's team than I do about Josh's team. Josh, as much again, and I'm not going to say too much before I get too nauseous, but his team is a little bit more
against himself.
What's that?
Sam is picking Josh.
Oh wow.
Josh. Yeah,
way to be humble, Sam. Way to be
that means Sam's gonna drop half his players or something.
Oh no! Don't do it.
Just because he wants that pick point.
Sam might sell his team. We
don't
could probably
do it. You've got a good chance, Sam. Don't.
No, he's in the mix. He's in the mix.
Right. Sam will never sell his
team. I look
at
this, and I think I'm the same as you, Dave. I was trying to go back and forth, and honestly, my first thought was like, I think it's just going to be Sam. Like, I just had a gut feeling it's going to be Sam. But then when I was just really looking at all the matchups, I was like, Josh's team is more complete here.
Deontay Johnson versus the Denver defense. You really think he's going to score anything?
No.
I mean,
that's the thing is, I think Johnson is a bad choice to keep in there. Nobody throws against Denver. We've talked about this many times on the pod.
For some reason, Sam took off Javonte Williams even though the
Devontae's
matchup
been
is-
getting the ball
Shakir
more.
was not in there before. He took out Samuel and put in Shakir.
Yeah. Well, Samuel's questionable, although
Pneumonia.
I'd still assume he's going to play.
Jennings would hope he doesn't.
It's kind of a tough one.
So I'm
It's
picking.
kind of a tough one.
I'm picking the Flemoids.
It's
Are you?
definitely difficult. And the thing is Khalil Shakir with as much when Amari Cooper becomes a little bit more like normalized with the team, I don't see him getting a lot of
I had
shape.
Shakir for a bit, and he wasn't doing much when he was the only guy. So the thought would be that he actually improves now because he has less coverage.
Yeah, like the old the Garrett Wilson effect kind of thing. Like, well, now I am not questionable. Yeah, Samuel Senior.
So who's your picks?
Alex, go for it. Are you gonna
Oh.
pick Sam or
Oh man,
Josh?
I want to pick Josh, but the only things that are stopping me and like saying is Josh Allen, Breece Hall. Like Mark Andrews has been heating up a little bit, 2 touchdowns in
This
2
is one against
consecutive games. And if Montgomery is still banged up, then Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get the ball a lot more. And I
Look
don't.
at this guy over here who was just trying to convince me that Montgomery was a better choice. Now he's saying he's banged up and Gibbs is
Well, it really it's an unknown. It's an unknown.
It's true.
I hope Montgomery does well.
You want the Lions to do well?
I mean, look, I know the Bears aren't going to make it
Okay.
to the playoffs. Like, there's no. I mean,
I think the Bears could make it
It's
to the
still about a
playoffs.
soft decade away.
Oh, yeah.
can even 3 teams from the same division go to the playoffs together?
Yeah, all 4 teams could.
Four
if-
can? Oh
if
my
the
gosh!
I
playoffs
don't
were-
think that they really could since they play each other so much.
Right?
Nope. I mean, they can.
They
They
all
could.
could.
Their record is good enough.
That would be insane. That would be insane.
Their record is good enough. Now,
I
the NFC
don't
North
think
has not
that's
played
gonna
each
happen.
other a lot, so that'll probably change. But
All right.
You know what? Since Sam is listening, I'll just take Sam.
All right.
I'll take him.
How about
I,
Dave?
I think you could do it. I think you
I
Josh,
think he can do it. I won't be shocked, but
I especially if he takes out Johnson and Shakir. I don't know.
get ready,
I did-
Johnson, Sam.
Yeah,
did-
yeah.
I did pick Josh mainly because he's not listening right now, so I feel more comfortable about that. But yeah,
Here, how about this? Sam, since you're listening, if you take those players out and put someone else in, I'll pick you. Can we do one of those?
Need for advice.
Can we do
Definitely
one of
don't
those?
put in a receiver against the Broncos.
If he puts in Debo and he puts in if you put in Debo, let's just say that. If you put in Debo, I'll pick you. And you're winning. So yeah.
I mean, I would love to see Sam win because it helps me a little bit more because Josh is a little bit more of a threat to me than Sam is, but I don't know.
Everybody's tied down there. Nobody
Seems
helps
like-
you more. Than anyone
Seems
else.
like
I am
there's
not
The only thing that you should really be rooting for, Dave, is Alex losing. He would be your biggest threat.
Right.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
think Josh is turning into this guy who's like inevitable. Like he's just like I am going to.
He's
be
not
inevitable.
Yeah, he has 3 losses.
inevitable. Yeah, he has 3 losses. But
All right, let's get to the game of the week.
game.
Ooh,
the
this
game
is
of the week.
Oh no.
This is the probably the easiest pick you're gonna make.
The beginning of the tank off. All right. So we've got the 1-6 AWOLs versus the 4-3 Blue Golds. Last time out, though, the Lightning won. Their only win came against the Blue Golds, 105-77.
Wow.
Oh, the White Lightning beat the Blue Golds the last time.
beat.
That's the only win they have.
Rival team is who they took down.
Dang.
Got Burrow in.
And
I think it's closer than 14 points, to be fair.
I think
Yeah,
I can't
I
pick a
agree.
team that is sold out. So I'm going to go with the Blue Golds, who are lucky enough to get to play him twice more.
I feel like
Njoku.
I also have a thought here. This whole rival system might not work so well if we constantly have people selling out picks, because you're going to end up with like someone at the top who got all those picks getting to play someone at the bottom now who sold out all their picks. You're not going to have a fierce rivalry when you know the person who is at the top is going to have a crap team next year because they sold out.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Sure.
Nick Chubb. I mean, he could start going Derrick Henry mode. He could start busting off 80-yard touchdown runs. Like,
Good. I mean, anybody.
he's had a long time to rest. He's like fresh right now. He got a touchdown in his first game back after blowing up his knee.
It's possible.
Oh man, he could. I just feel like that projection's a little.
But he does play on the Browns offense.
Yeah.
This
The Browns start falling behind.
That's the thing, though. Like, that's true. That's true. But
they don't have Flacco coming in this year to help them.
Right. But they're going to be running the ball more then.
But everyone can sell out to the run because they can't throw it.
It's true. It's true. Anyways, I feel like he might not be totally out for the.
Are you picking the Lightning?
I don't know. Dave?
I did not pick the Lightning. I am going Blue Golds all the way.
Yeah, it's probably going to be the Blue Golds. I
mean, Kareem Hunt.
Wait, did Sam just change his pick to Alex from me?
Yeah. I picked the Blue Golds.
He just said Alex picked me, so I pick him. What the heck?
Wow. I don't know if it really works that way, Sam, but all right. I'll take it.
Right now, everybody's picking Todd to win it all. So,
yeah, I think Jamar Chase. I mean,
Jamar Chase, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
Cooper Kupp's first game back.
Cooper Kupp, my boy.
Here's a fun thought.
My boy.
Here's a fun thought. Cooper Kupp plays tomorrow night. Then he gets traded to Tampa and plays again on Sunday.
No, no, those trade rumors are.
You think he's going to Tampa?
And he puts up a 50.
No way. Cooper Kupp's not leaving Matt Stafford. Those guys are like peas in a pod.
Every time these rumors happen, they end up happening.
It's not always up to him.
That's true, but I just think those trade rumors are a little. It's a bunch of malarkey, I tell you.
Probably.
It's not very often that a trade rumor heats up that much and ends up being nothing.
This is the NFL media we're talking about. They like to spin stuff up. Anyways, yeah, taking the Blue Golds.
Blue Golds. All right, we're all in agreement there. Well, by the way, I went 4-0 last week. Only one.
Yeah. Chuck made some roundup from going 0-4 2 weeks. I struggled with.
I think Dave and I are tied at the top now, right?
Yep. Going 1-3, I struggled. Definitely only picked myself correctly. I picked with my heart and not with my brain.
We told you that last week. We told you that.
Yeah. You never know. Sometimes my heart is right.
It's tough to use your heart.
And you did your pro pick'em, not at all.
Yes. Pro pick'em sucked. I got 4 right because
4 out of all the teams. Dave.
If I can get the gold in the pro pick'em again,
I missed the entire pro pick'em the first game.
You still got 6 picks in.
Yeah, I got 6 picks in. I was sitting at the Packer game making my picks because I realized I forgot to put my picks in.
I see.
But don't worry, man. I missed the entire week 1 last year, and I still went on to win. So it is not a death sentence. You're only 6 behind, and there's a lot of season left.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the week.
That is the week.
We've been on here for a while, so I kind of want to just do a rapid fire, kind of go down my talks about.
Sure. And Alex, if you have to go, no hard feelings.
Yeah,
man.
I haven't had dinner. I'm pretty hungry.
Yeah,
I got a shower and whatnot. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on. What's that?
Yeah.
Get yourself some McDonald's.
I think I'll pass. PC,
man.
After seeing,
don't listen to the news, fake news.
After seeing our former president at McDonald's, it did make me crave those golden arches a little bit.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
A Whopper.
I'm more of a fish fillet guy. I'm more of a fish fillet guy.
I'll tell you what. I almost shared this on Discord, but I'm pretty sure that this league is probably like 6 out of 8 heavily conservative. That's just my guess. So I didn't post it, even though it's not strictly political in that way. But it was a picture of the Vikings versus the Lions score, and it said the Vikings beat the Lions 2-1 per quarter. So if we use the Electoral College, they should have won. But popular vote.
That is funny.
Sam.
That is funny.
That's
Oh
good.
my gosh. All right.
But even if you're not a conservative, okay, I'm not getting political here.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
I'm
say,
not a very political
the
person.
electoral college has worked for 250 years.
Yeah,
Has
I
it?
think it's a good system.
It didn't work well when Reconstruction got ended.
Reconstruction. Okay. All right. So yeah, fish fillet guy. But I'll probably try and eat a little healthier than that.
Fish is healthy. Get that
All right,
margarita.
buddy.
Fish
Well,
is
thanks
healthy.
for
Yes, thanks for joining us.
jumping on.
Yeah, I'll be listening still as I
All
make
right.
dinner. So
Take it easy.
thanks, guys.
Take it easy.
See ya.
All right, so we were on the third place team, which is the Flemoids. And what's interesting is because everyone's tied, they pretty much go in order. So the Flemoids are third in points scored, third in EAE, and they're scoring 85 points over their projections on general. I predict a 4-3 to finish 8-6.
Okay.
I think them having to have Sam twice is going to be problematic.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult.
Possibly, but we'll see.
That dang it, I'm trying to see here schedule. So you think 8-6?
I think 8-6 could be feasible.
Okay.
I could also see the team falling apart. We'll see.
It's going to be an interesting that week 13 matchup may come into some pretty big implications.
Yeah.
If he's upper in the standings, or if I lower a little bit, like that might, if like we're in, me, Alex, Josh, somebody else, that could come into some pretty big.
I don't think things are going to stay this close, but if they did, we'd really get to see the new tiebreaker thing. Action, which would be pretty cool. So fourth place, we have the Muskox in there, fourth in points scored, fourth in EAE, and they're scoring 54 points over projection. I think they're stronger than their record shows, honestly. They've had some bumps. They've had some bad luck with who they played and when they played. Andrews has been rounding into form to be a little bit better now. I think that the Muskoxen can go 5-2 to finish 9-5.
9-5. All right.
I think they could. Maybe that's optimistic, but like I said, I was feeling the love. I was sharing it with all the teams. I went more towards ceilings.
Sure, that's fair.
Then you got the Blue Golds. They're fifth. They're fifth in points scored, fifth in EAE. They're getting 55 points on average above it. They're still hard to figure out. Only 5 field goals. Godwin leaves a hole. Cup returns. That's good luck right there. They have the easiest schedule left. Their remaining schedule has a record of 20-29.
Wow.
Because they get to play Jordan and they don't have to play you. So it's tough. I'm predicting 4-3 because they're kind of an up and down team. So I think they finished 8-6.
8-6. That sounds about right. I would actually, I'd probably even maybe go
7-7.
7-7. I could see 7-7. My dad's a tough one to figure out because I don't think he even believes in his team, honestly. He's just like is flabbergasted that he's been scoring so well.
He's probably been flabbergasted for the last 3 years as he's been scoring well.
So yeah, it's definitely, I think, for him.
Him and Kara are the two teams that I have the best chance of passing, I think.
The only thing that works in his favor is he gets basically 2 guaranteed wins.
And he doesn't have to face the current best team.
And he doesn't have to play me, so yeah.
So the luck could play into that. So sixth place, we have the Fergals, but the Fergals are actually 7th in points scored, tied for last in everyone against everyone. They would only have, let me check, they would be 14-35. They played everyone. Yeah. But here they are, tied for second. Still, they're averaging 35 points below their original projection on a weekly basis. So talk about a team that Yahoo seems to be high on, but doesn't end up being quite that way. They're a bad but lucky team. Weeks 2 through 7, their highest score is only a 114. I see that settling. I don't see luck being something you can carry the whole way. They also have the hardest schedule remaining because they have to play you twice and they don't get to play Jordan.
Yeah.
again. So their remaining schedule is 28-19 as a record, 10-game swap from the Blue Golds. But maybe Tua coming back lifts up Hill and Achane, and suddenly your team kind of becomes a powerhouse. I don't know. That's kind of a thing there. But I'm predicting a 3-4 finish for them to go 7-7.
Yep.
Right now.
I could see 7-7 as a very real possibility. 6-8 is also a real possibility. I do think, again, I don't know what it is, if it's just the big names that I'm seeing on her team, but it's like your team should be better than what it is. Like
Yahoo seems to agree with that.
You look, it's like you got Josh Jacobs, you got like, and I mean, I know Josh Jacobs isn't like Josh Jacobs. Aaron Jones has been scoring good points. And I mean, like you look at her team as a total, Davante Adams should eventually start, like, the investment should pay off with Davante Adams. Like, eventually he's going to click with Aaron Rodgers, and to probably the Jets' detriment, he's only going to have eyes for Davante Adams, and he's going to give Davante Adams like 15 plus points a game.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that will eventually be the
tough
case.
To figure out. If her team continues as it's been, it's going to be tough out. If those things all click in place, she could end up rivaling some top stuff.
Now she's like, again, Achane probably will start playing better. Tyreek Hill will most likely start playing better with Tua. So, I mean, I think there's something more going on with the Miami Dolphins than just the fact that Tua's out. Like, I don't know if maybe they've just had some issues or whatever, but you'd assume that, like,
I hope they don't click.
You hope they don't click. Why?
Because I need Kara to be losing.
Oh, that's right. You said that's the best chance you have. If I were her, I'd get something different than the San Francisco defense. Justin Tucker's pretty solid. I don't know. I think her team is better than what it should be, but we said that last year, and she barely scraped by. So
yeah, she's had the luck.
But yeah. All right.
The seventh place team is the Puffins. We're 6th in points scored, 6th in EAE, and I'm getting an average of just 3 points under my projection. So I'm actually pretty close to my projections on a weekly basis. I need some receivers. Yeah. It's killing me. Losing Rice and Nakua has been absolutely brutal, apparently, and not having a quarterback that can do anything. I'm hoping that Williams, at least on good weeks, can fix some of that, but I don't know how to get receivers. It's mind-numbingly terrible trying to find a receiver in here. Like I said last week, like, you're just sifting through all these like 20th to 30th ranked receivers, like who's going to be the one that maybe pops it off, and it's really hard to know what's going to happen there. I kind of predict 3-3 to finish 5-9. Could be as good as 5-2 to finish 7-7. I don't see me making the playoffs at this point. It's just, the thing is even if I win out, I need someone to lose 3 games, which is totally doable, but me winning out would be very, very hard.
Yeah.
If you even go with a more favorable 5-2, someone has to lose 5 games in order for me to make the playoffs at that point.
It's not impossible, but
it's not impossible, but not frequent for someone to go 4-3, 2-5.
No.
So it's going to need a lot of help, but I'm not selling out because I know that my worst year ever was 6-8, and my goal is to win 4 games and get to at least 6.
Your worst year ever in the Yahoo or all total?
In Yahoo. Actually, let me look at the NFL ones quick too. In the NFL, I went 8-5, and I went 8-5. So yeah,
you'd be interested in Nico
since
Collins.
2016, the worst I've ever done is 6-8. So I would not. I really want to get 4 wins and not have a 5-win year. That's my goal. That's gonna be my drive. And if I can get into the playoffs along the way, it'd be really nice. But when it comes down to it, you look at the years. Only once in the Yahoo era has the 6 to 7 seed actually been close, and that was in 2021 when one was 8-7 and one was 7-8. Every other year, it's been a pretty big drop off from 6th to 8th, which is why 7th, which is why we added the 16 playoff.
Yeah.
I also looked into teams finishing 2-5 or worse in the first 7 games, and it's not pretty. It is not pretty. Of teams that went 2-5, it's happened 8 times, and 4 of the times they got to just 1 or 2 more wins the whole year. 2 of the times they've gotten to 7-7, which is what I'm hoping for. And 1 time, you back in 2018 started 2-5 and then finished 9-5. You won out,
and then I think I won the championship.
That is my beacon.
That's your beacon of hope right there.
The beacon of hope is to win out.
I do think your team is better than what your record says. You've had some very unlucky, like you scored 130 points and still lost.
Yeah. Well, and what are the chances of getting a 0.95?
You scored 130 points and still lost. I mean, you could very easily be.
I think 3 of my losses is like a combined 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could very easily be.
Hopefully that bounces back, but I just need so much help in order to get in, which hopefully someone, I think this 4-3 mess is going to change, and there's going to be some that fall down more. I just need them to fall a lot more.
Yeah.
Than they possibly could. So that leaves us with the White Lightning, who are 8th in points scored, tied for last in EAE, and they're scoring on average 2 points less than projection. It's been a rough year for them. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about him a lot. Yeah. I actually had predicted 2-5, but this was before the trades. So I think I could see him losing out because I don't think he gives a crap.
Really? 7 losses?
I don't think he will. I think he'll get at least 1 win.
1-13?
If he only gets 1 more win, he will tie for the least wins ever in a
season. Who has the least wins again?
Todd got 2 wins in 2018. No, 2019 he went 2-12.
Yeah, that's rough.
And Jordan could fall into that because he's just getting rid of his best 2 players probably. So I don't care how much he digs in the waivers. You can't jettison that kind of power and hope anything happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd beat your losing streak though. What would that put him at? It would put him at 7, 8, 9, 10 losses in a row. I think it would set the record. Or no, Sam lost 11 in a row, didn't he?
I think Sam lost 11 in a row. And that was over 2 seasons or something like that.
Yeah, so he would have to lose in the playoffs too in order to get to that. Longest loss streak, 11 in a row. So yeah, if Jordan loses out, including playoffs, he will tie that record.
Wow.
So here's my seed predictions. I predict the QPCs are the 1 seed and the Lambs get the 2 seed. Those are our buys. I think Alex unfortunately gets buys 2 years in a row. I hate to see it, but I think it's probably going to happen. He's been really good with the waivers. I think the Musk Oxen then will take on the Fergals, who are the 6th seed. And the Lemoids will take on the Blue Golds as the 4th and 5th seeds.
Okay.
And then the Puffins will probably beat the Lightning and get 7th.
Well, you get a bye for the first one at least.
Get 2 buys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. You get 2 buys. Oh, that's right.
2 weeks. I don't know. I hope I make the playoffs, but it's going to take a lot. So that's what I've got. This has been a long pod.
It has been a long pod. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Thank you for sticking around. Sam, Alex, you're probably the only 2 people that would be awake at this time. I'm actually surprised Josh cut out so early, but that's okay. Yeah, it's been good.
Good luck to everybody except Alex.
Yeah. Good luck to everybody but Kara. But I could see myself losing there. I have a bad feeling, man.
But I want you to win. Please win.
I want to win too. I want to keep this streak alive, man. I want to keep me going. I want to get back on the 130 horse, which I started for the first 4 weeks. Want that. It's like,
your best regular season record is 9-5.
It's like when Aaron Rodgers throws a pick that ends like some crazy streak and then like sucks for the rest of the season, like he did a few times.
Yeah.
I feel like that. It's like I almost had a chance to break a record and I didn't, and it was like it was rough. But
All right, everyone.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for sticking it around.
Yep.
All right, see ya.